Hello everyone. Welcome to the online video lecture for the subject machines 2. And today the topic I would like to discuss is torque slip and torque speed characteristics. Okay, so in the previous class we have seen the torque equation, and then what about the maximum torque condition there uh, at standstill and running condition, right? So now we would like to discuss on the torque slip characteristics. Okay, so the curve obtained by plotting torque against slip from s equal to 1, that is at start, to s equal to 0, which is the synchronous speed, is called torque slip characteristics of the induction motor. So what does it mean? So basically, the, between these two parameters, that is, if you want to know the performance of the induction motor with respect to the torque and slip, so these are the extremities. So I mean, these are the stages of the performance. That is from s equal to 1 and to s equal to 0. So s equal to 1 in the sense it is a standstill condition, right? So that the rotor is the rotor never rotates there, and the amount of the flux linkage in the rotor will be maximum. Okay, and the induced EMF, which is directly proportional to the flux, it will be in maximum position. Okay, so s equal to 1, but the rotor never rotates there. So what about s equal to 0? So that is the starting stage of the induction motor. From s equal to 0, the value varies. Okay, so basically it is between from s equal to 0 to s equal to 1. Okay, and what about the so that basically is called as the torque slip characteristics of the induction motor. So we need to analyze the performance from s equal to 0 to s equal to 1. So that is the aim of this topic. Okay, so how it responds, or what type of performance it is observed, and what about the performance if slip is getting varied, and what type of behavior it is representing, that is from s equal to 0 to 1, and all we are going to see. Okay, so earlier we have defined this equation. I mean, we have derived this equation, right? Torque is proportional to s into e2 square r2 by r2 square plus s into x2 whole square, and the units are Newton meters. So this equation in the previous session we have derived that. So considering this equation, so we are going to find out the performance, right? So from this equation, the torque equation, e2 is constant. So we have to analyze that, because if the supply voltage and the frequency is constant, the induced EMF in the stator winding, that is the E1, is also constant, and E1 will be proportional to E2. So E2 is also constant there. Okay, so by considering that, the equation becomes T is proportional to S into R2 by R2 square plus S into X2 whole square. So Newton meters. Consider it as equation 1. Okay. So by considering this equation, we will analyze that. Analyze the torque slip curve. So, and the regions can be divided as two regions: low slip region and high slip region. So in some other contents, we can see that low slip region, medium slip region, high slip region is there. But I'll explain you one by one. So that is a low slip region. In low slip region, s is very small. Okay, so due to this, the term s into x2 whole square is also small as compared to r2 square, and it can be neglected. So what does it mean? So here it is indicated that if the value is very low, if the s value is very low, so what does it mean? So x2 square is so small as compared to r2 square. Okay, so that means the reactance part is neglected because of its very low value. So only these r2 terms will be existing in this equation under low slip condition. So what happens then? Therefore, torque T equal to S into R2 by R2 square, which is proportional to S if R2 is constant. Okay, of course the R2 is constant. By not including the temperature conditions. Okay, so here the resistance basically it will be constant. Okay, so what happens? What is the relation there? Under low slip region, torque is proportional to slip. Okay, so this we have to keep it in mind. Okay, so here s into x2 square is very low, and we are neglecting that. Okay, so what is the statement made? Hence, in low slip region, torque is directly proportional to slip. So that is the statement in low slip region. Okay, so as load increases, speed decreases, and which leads to increase in the slip. So what does it mean? Since the motor is connected to the mechanical loads, so what happens if the mechanical loads are connected, uh, the speed of the motor starts reducing. But what happens there? In order to reach the maximum torque, what happens? The slip is also, sorry, tries to reach the maximum torque. So torque is proportional to slip here. So under this condition, what happens? Torque is proportional to slip. So this leads to increase in the torque. Okay, so that is the situation in this low slip region. Okay, hence the graph is straight line in nature. So since t is proportional to 5, sorry, yes, so it is under linear operation. Okay, so the curve represents like a straight line. Okay, next, at n equal to ns, s equal to 0, and hence t equal to 0. Okay, so n in the sense the rotor speed is equal to the synchronous speed, that is the stator speed, I mean the stator RMS. So under this condition, s equal to 0, and what happens to the torque? It is equal to 0. Okay, because t is proportional to s. As no torque is generated at n equal to ns, the motor stops if it tries to achieve the synchronous speed. So earlier we have seen that theoretically we can go for s equal to 0, but practically, so the motor never rotates in the slip equal to 0 condition. Okay, so because there is no torque developed under this n equal to ns, so slip equal to 0. If slip equal to 0 means obviously the torque developed in the motor is also 0. Okay, so the torque increases linearly in this region of low slip values. Since t is proportional to s, if there is increase in slip, obviously there is increase in torque. So what does it mean? If there is increase in the slip means there should be difference between the stator speed and rotor speed. Okay, next condition, next region is a high slip region. So before that, medium slip region is here not mentioned, but basically t is proportional to s into, so look at this equation. So here all the terms are considered here. So that is the medium region, so no need to discuss in detail in that, but that is the actual motor condition. Okay, so here s is having certain medium value. Okay, so it runs in a normal mode of operation. Okay, so only these two regions are highlighted here, that is low slip region and high slip region. Okay, let us see the high slip region. So in this region, slip is high, that is slip value is approaching to 1. High in the sense it is almost reaching to 1. Okay, so that is the meaning of this high slip. Okay, so it is coming from 0 to 1. Okay, it is approaching to 1, but it is never equal to 1 there. Okay, next, here it can be assumed that the term r2 square is very small as compared to s into x2 square. Okay, so look at this equation a here. So here R2 is less when compared with reactance. The resistance part is less when compared to the reactance part. Okay, so thereby neglecting the denominator. So neglecting means what happens there? The R2 square is neglected. The torque equation becomes, the equation A becomes T is equal to S into R2 by S into X2 whole square, which is proportional to 1 by S. Here R2 gets, I mean, this R2 is the constant there. So what happens here? So finally, it is proportional to 1 by S. So earlier in this low slip region, we have seen that T is proportional to S. But in the high slip region, here torque is inversely proportional to the slip. Okay, so in high slip region, torque is inversely proportional to slip, hence its nature is like rectangular hyperbola. So based on this equation, that is t is proportional to 1 by s, so the curve appears to be a rectangular hyperbola. Okay, so now when load increases, okay, the same situation. So see, if assume that if a load is connected to the motor, so the speed gets reduced. As the speed decreases, slip again increases because it tries to reach the maximum torque, but practically the speed is getting reduced. So this of course we have seen in the lab also. So if you are connecting any mechanical loads or applying any weights to the rotor, so what happens? The speed starts reducing. But if you want to it always tries to reach the maximum torque. In that situation, actually the speed of the rotor gets reduced, but it tries to reach the maximum torque. Okay, so with that relation, what happens? The difference in the stator and rotor also increases. That means the slip also increases. Okay, so in high slip region, as T is inversely proportional to slip, torque decreases as slip increases. Okay, here if the slip is getting increased, what happens? The torque gets reduced and vice versa. Okay, similarly, if the slip is low, the torque will be high. Okay, so that is the situation in the high slip region. So from this what statement we can do, there should be certain a moderate or a medium value or certain finite value, so that the torque can be maintained and the slip can also be helpful for the maintaining the torque. Okay, so but the torque must increase to satisfy the load demand. So that it means that the torque should be I mean, the machine has it tries to reach the maximum torque in order to satisfy the load demand. So load demand here in the sense the mechanical load. Okay. Next, as torque decreases due to extra loading effect, speed further decreases and slip further increases. So if it never tries to reach the load demanded, that is the mechanical load, which there must be a desired speed. If it fails, so what happens if we keep on increasing the loading effect, the speed further decreases and the slip further increases. Okay, so since the speed is getting reduced, and obviously the slip further increases. If there is increase in the slip, what happens? The torque will be reduced. Okay, so hence speed further drops. Okay, so eventually motor comes to standstill. If the slip is getting keep on increasing, means up to which value we can expect? The maximum value is 1 there. Okay, so if we keep on increasing the slip value, what happens? It reaches to 1. If s equal to 1, what is the condition there? It is in standstill condition. Okay, so that situation may occur if we keep on increasing the slip value because of its loading effect. So the motor cannot continue to rotate at any point in this high slip region. So that region is called unstable region. Okay, so earlier we have seen the stable condition, right? Stable condition, that is medium. In medium region it will be there, and in high slip region we can see the curve to be rectangular hyperbola. In the low slip region the curve appears as linear. Okay, so the speed and the torque relation is linear there. Okay, look at this figure. So it has two regions. So one is straight line called the stable region of operation. Okay, so the stable region because of the low slip values, and the rectangular hyperbola, it is appeared due to the high slip region. Okay, so look at the x-axis there. X-axis represents for slip, and the y-axis for torque in Newton meters. Okay, so s equal to 0 here in the sense it is the start position. Okay, so that is the I mean the running condition starts. Okay, next s equal to 1 is the standstill condition. So under s equal to 0, if slip equal to 0 means stator speed is equal to the rotor speed, that is ns equal to n. Okay, if slip equal to 1, what happens? The rotor never rotates, it is in standstill condition, so the rotor speed n equal to 0. Okay, and s equal to sm in the sense it is considered as a medium region or a moderate region, so that's up to you. So if there is a certain finite value, okay, as per the rating of the machine it will be there, and the slip will be there. So consider as s equal to some sm, so some slip is there, so there it reaches to maximum torque. So the maximum torque is achieved in the motor at certain slip value. Okay, so what are the regions we have observed? So stable region, so that is OA. Look at the curve. OA is the stable region, and AB is the unstable region because it has exceeded the maximum torque. Okay, so if it is exceeding the torque, means what happens there? And the slip value gets increases. Okay, next. Next point here is the maximum torque. So at SM we are reaching the at particular slip value, that is SM. The maximum torque is achieved, and point B, that is the starting torque. So you look at the starting torque. We have defined the equation also. I mean we have derived the equation in the last session. What is the starting torque equation? Okay. Next, point C is the full load torque. So where is point C here? So this is the point C is the full load torque. Okay. Right. Next, in low slip region, as load increases, slip increases, and the torque also increases. Okay, from this curve, what are the statements we are going to made is, and under load slip region, T is proportional to S here. The maximum torque of the uh, the motor can produce as load increases is Tm, which occurs at S equal to Sm. See here, at S equal to Sm, the maximum torque here is achieved. Okay. Next, so linear behavior continues till S equal to Sm. So what does it mean? From S equal to 0 to S equal to Sm, so there is a linear curve. So it is directly proportional. That is, the torque is directly proportional to slip here. So until S equal to Sm. So this is stable operation, okay, or stable region. Okay, next, if the load is increased beyond this limit, that means if the motor has reached the maximum torque, fine. And if we keep on increasing the load, because we never guess that if the mechanical loads are connected, so there will be a desired speeds as per the application. The load may be increased. Okay, so that depends upon the application. So the motor slip acts dominantly, pushing the motor into high slip region. Okay, so what is the practical case there? If we are adding mechanical load to the motor, so what happens? The speed gets reduced. Okay, but the motor always tries to reach the maximum torque. So in this scenario, what happens? The slip tries to reach the high slip. It enters to the high slip region. Okay, so due to unstable conditions, motor comes to standstill condition at such a load. Okay, so look at the graph here. 1 second. Yes. So from S equal to Sm to S equal to 1. So this is the region. It can be treated as unstable. So under this also, the starting torque. So when the starting torque will be high at slip equal to 1. Okay, but the rotor never rotates. Okay, so earlier we have discussed that. And starting torque will be high if the slip equal to 1, but that should not be happened there. Okay, because the rotor stops rotating. Okay, before that it reaches to its full load torque. Okay, you can see here, you can observe from the graph, the maximum torque Tm will be high and the full load torque will be less than the maximum torque. It may be, I'll give you the data, I mean based upon the rating of the machine, what will be the full load torque and all, I'll give you further. See, right. So due to unstable conditions, the motor comes to standstill condition at such a load. So that should not happen, and we have to take care of it. So we cannot continue keep on adding the load to the motor. Okay. Hence, Tm, that is maximum torque which motor can produce, is also called breakdown torque or pull out torque. So this is the maximum torque or breakdown torque or pull out torque. So this is the extreme case. So what does in our simplified analysis, how for our convenience we can call it as the, so that is the breakdown. So earlier we have seen basically it comes in the parallel trans part, right? So that is the tolerable range. Okay, so if it exceeds, so then it comes under the unstable and anything may happen. Anything in the sense here in the induction motor, the rotor may be stopped. So that happens there. So if suddenly it stops, means there will be huge amount of current and the windings may get damaged. Okay, so that is the some of the failures. Okay, so breakdown torque, here we need to highlight this. Okay, so breakdown torque is the maximum torque achieved at S equal to Sm at particular slip value. Okay, so the range S equal to 0 to S equal to Sm is called the low slip region, known as stable region of operation. Earlier we have seen from the graph. And the motor always operates at a point in this region. So what is that point? Sm. Okay, and the range S equal to Sm to S equal to 1 is called high slip region, which is rectangular hyperbola. So look at this. So this curve from A to B. Okay, so it appears to be a rectangular hyperbola. Okay, so that is the unstable region there. Okay, next, motor cannot continue to rotate at any point in this region because it has reached the maximum value, that is S equal to 1. If S equal to 1 means the rotor speed n equal to 0, that is at start. So that is the at the starting condition. That means the rotor has stopped rotating. Okay, so and the motor produces a torque called starting torque, denoted as TST. And of course we have seen the equation there. So TST equation in the earlier session. Okay, so this is the performance of the torque slip characteristics of an induction motor. Okay, for different with respect to this slip, how the torque is produced in the induction motor and what are the regions. Okay, and what are the relations? That is, the T is proportional to S, T is inversely proportional to S, and how it acts. If the slip is increasing, what happens to the torque, and if the slip is reduced, what happens to the torque. All these points we need to mention. I mean, we need to conclude that from this graph. Okay, so that is the performance of the torque slip characteristics. Okay, next we enter into the speed torque characteristics. Okay, so the speed torque. Okay, the torque developed by a three-phase motor depends on its speed, but the relation between the two, that is the speed and the torque, cannot be represented by a single equation. Okay, earlier we have seen that T is proportional to S, T is inversely proportional to S. In that manner, we cannot define directly that how the torque is proportional to speed. Okay, so it is easier to show the relationship in the form of a curve. And in the coming diagram, you can see that T represents the nominal full load torque of the motor. So here you can see the diagram there. So x-axis represents the speed. So that is under rotational speed there in RPM, considered as in RPM there, and the y-axis represents the torque. Okay, so in Newton meters. Okay, so you can see the scale there: 0.5 T, T 1.5 to 2.5, likewise. So under rotational speed, so consider it as 0 to 100%. So 100% means what is the maximum value? That is ns, synchronous speed. Okay, so that may be either 1500 or 3000 or something. Okay, so maximum speed means ns. Okay, right. uh, if n equal to 0, so what happens? The locked rotor torque, so that is 1.5 times the uh, t value. Okay, nominal torque. So nominal torque means that is actually the referred torque or the maximum torque required. Okay, next, if under no load, I mean rotor locked speed, okay, that is locked rotor, the torque is 1.5 times. Okay, next, under see this point, the starting torque at n equal to 0 is 1.5 into t, and the maximum torque, that is breakdown torque, is 2.5 into t. Okay, so what do you mean by breakdown torque? Means at particular slip, the rotor has reached the maximum torque. So that is the situation there, and that speed at that particular slip, the speed can be treated as n suffix d. Okay, so that is the maximum breakdown, the speed at which the breakdown torque exists. Okay, so here that is 2.5 into t. Okay, so please remind that at 0, the locked rotor torque, the torque developed is, I mean, sorry, at n equal to 0, the torque developed is 1.5 times. Okay, and that the breakdown torque, so the value is 2.5 into t. So what do the breakdown means? The motor has reached the maximum torque condition. Okay, at particular slip. Okay, so at that particular slip, the speed can be treated as n suffix d, small d. Okay, so here you can see at 80% of the speed, we are reached the 2.5 of the maximum torque value. Okay, so that is called breakdown torque or pull-up torque. Okay, so pull-up torque is the minimum torque developed by the motor while it accelerating from the rest to the breakdown. So rest in the sense 0. From rest to breakdown period, so the torque developed is called pull-up torque. Okay, so I hope you have clear from this, have got the clear information from this graph. Okay, so look at this full load torque, so pull up torque and locked rotor torque, what is breakdown torque. Okay, right. Okay, so from this graph we have noticed all these points. At full load, the motor runs at speed of n. Okay, or capital N, that's up to you. When the mechanical load increases slightly, the speed will drop until the motor torque is again equal to the load torque. So if we keep on increasing the load, means what happens? The speed gets reduced, and what about the torque position? It tries to reach the maximum torque. As soon as the two torques are in balance, that means the stator torque and the, I mean, the actual torque and the what is the required torque, I mean between the difference, that is the error, the motor will turn at a constant but slightly lower speed. Okay, so what is the actual torque required and what is how it is trying to reach the maximum torque? Between these two difference, what happens? The speed is lower because of its additional mechanical load. Okay. However, if the load torque exceeds 2.5, that is the breakdown torque is reached, the motor will suddenly stops. Okay, that means it is exceeding the unstable region there. Okay, so here this is the point. Earlier we have said you that what will be the value for small motors, that is for 15 HP. Okay, 15 horsepower motors and less, beyond less than that, they develop the breakdown torque at a speed ND of about 80%. Okay, so here you can see 80% of the speed is achieved. Okay, so suppose if they require the 1500 rpm, so 80% of the speed will be achieved. That is the breakdown torque value. Okay, so the in 15 HP motors or less than that. Suppose big motor, so consider a big motor that is 1500 HP and more than that, and the breakdown torque value is 98% of the synchronous speed. Okay, so these two are the few examples have collected from the textbook. Okay, so like this, the breakdown torque exists and the speed of it 80% is 80% of the synchronous speed for 15 HP and less than motors, and 1500 HP or more than that, it reaches 98% of the synchronous speed. Okay, so right guys, so this graph represents this characteristic represents the torque slip curve of the three-phase induction motor. Okay, you can see here and 0 to maximum speed, that is the synchronous speed ns. So this is the motoring region, so this is actually we require. Okay, so in the previous session I have discussed also, if the slip value is less than 1 or greater than 1, so what is the case there, how the motor is going to perform there. Okay, so that we need to conclude from this characteristics. Look at this x-axis with it represents the slip and the speed. Okay, y-axis represents the torque there. Okay, if slip is 1 or if it is greater than 1, it is in braking condition. Okay, I repeat once again, if slip is greater than 1, so earlier we know that s equal to 0 means starting condition. Okay, slip 0, okay, the motor never rotates. If slip equal to 1, it is in standstill. In that case also the motor never rotates. But if slip is greater than 1, it is in braking region. Okay, if slip is less than 0, so less than 0 means it acts as a generator, I mean it is in generating action. Okay, so remind that I will give you the important points regarding this and how it performs and all. What are about these three cases, that is motoring action, generating action and braking action. Okay, in some textbooks you can see it as braking, BREAKING, but it's not actually, it is braking, brake in the sense stopping. Okay, so generating means so this application is also used for compensating the reactor power. So right now not to discuss the reactor power concept there, so just it is acts as a compensator. Okay, so in some industries, so let us see what are the three modes. So motoring mode, in this mode of operation supply is given to the stator side and the motor always rotates below the synchronous speed. So this is the actual case which we require in the induction motor. Okay, so when the supply is given to the stator, of which is of three-phase winding is placed there, so the motor starts rotating, which is of synchronous speed. Okay, so the induction motor torque varies from 0 to full load torque. So earlier we have seen it varies from 0 to maximum torque, that is TM, as the slip varies. So the slip varies from 0 to 1, but it will be never 0, it will be never 1. There should be certain finite value. So that is SM. Okay. So it is 0 at no load and 1 at standstill. So that is not required for us. It should be between these range. Okay. From the curve, it is seen that the torque is directly proportional to the slip. So earlier we have seen the equation, right? Under the low slip region, T is proportional to S. Okay. So that is more is the slip, more will be torque produced and vice versa. If slip is more, obviously the torque will be more because it has a linear relationship. So this is the motoring mode which we require actually. What about the generating mode? So in this mode of operation, induction motor runs above the synchronous speed. Okay, and it should be driven by a prime mover. Okay, so basically how it exceeds beyond the synchronous speed means if it is connected to a prime mover. Okay, So the stator winding, I mean the rotor is connected to any other prime mover. Okay. So and we are exceeding the synchronous speed, that is the stator speed. Then it comes under the generating mode. The stator winding is connected to a three-phase supply which it supplies electrical energy. Actually, in this case, the torque and slip both are negative. Okay, because it is exceeding the speed. You can find it out from the relation. Earlier in the problem also we have seen if it is in opposite direction, so there exists some negative. Okay, so negative value in the slip means so the speed is uh, exceeding there, and the direction also matters there. Okay, so actually in this case the torque and slip both are negative, so the motor receives mechanical energy and delivers electrical energy. So from the stator we can receive the supply. So that is the situation there. Okay, so earlier what about the normal mode of operation? If you are providing a supply to the stator, the rotor rotates and we are using that mechanical power developed. Okay, but in this case we have to collect the power from the stator, so like a generator. Okay, so induction motor is not much used as generator because of its reactive power of it for its operation. So I have said you before. So there, it is a big concept, that is a reactive power compensation. So just make an idea that it delivers the reactive power. Okay, right. That is the reactive power should be supplied from outside, and if it runs below the synchronous speed by any means, it consumes electrical energy. So that means it is nothing but a synchronous condenser, right? So reactive power generation, reactive power absorption. Okay, so in normal mode it acts as a motoring. Okay, so that is the case that in that appliances it may be used for reactive power compensation. So this situation we may create, but it is not highly appreciable. So far as possible, induction generators are generally avoided. So because of some limitations, it is not encouraged. Okay, next, braking mode. So in the braking mode, the two leads, I mean the two polarities of the supply voltage is changed. So that the motor starts to rotate in the reverse direction. Okay, so and as a result the motor stops. So what happens here, the braking mode means if under normal operation the motor is running, suddenly if we start reversing the terminals, if any two phases are reversed there, so what happens, the motor rotates in opposite direction and starts rotating there. Okay, so this method of braking is known as plugging. So this method is used when it is required to stop the motor within a very short period of time. Okay, so this method, if we require an immediate action there, then we go for a plugging. 1 second. Okay, so this method is used when it is required to stop the motor within a very short period of time. So stator is disconnected from the supply before the motor enters the braking mode. Suppose if you want to apply the braking mode, okay, so we need to remove the supply, and any of the two terminals may be reversed. So immediately the motor rotates in decelerates, and it stops rotating there. Okay, if the load uh, which the motor drives accelerates the motor in the same direction as the motor is rotating. Okay, the speed of the motor may increase more than the synchronous speed. Okay, so if you are not removing the supply, means there may be chance of exceeding the synchronous speed, so it comes under the generating mode. Okay, so this type of braking mode is also called as the regenerative braking, which is highly uh, implemented. Okay, so especially in the hybrid vehicles and all, they go for the regenerative braking, so to charge the batteries and all, so they implement this. Okay, so that's about the three modes. And finally, so effect of rotor resistance on torque slip characteristics. So how the resistance impact on the torque and torque slip characteristics. Okay, so by varying the resistance, how the torque slip performance can be changed. So that we are going to study from this slide. So you can see the torque slip characteristics. This is also obtained from the previous characteristics. So this is the case here. So this portion only I have considered, that is a motoring region only. Okay. So if s equal to 0, s equal to 0 means uh, there it is in starting condition. So to s equal to 1. So this is the limitation. So this is the motoring mode. Okay. So consider the normal slip condition. So low slip condition, that is SM. So this is the maximum torque achieved by the motor. Suppose if we vary the resistance, because we know the relation there, how the torque and resistance relate. Look at this equation. See, equation A. Okay, so torque is directly proportional to S into RT by R2 square plus S into X2 whole square. Okay, so here the inductance is fixed there. Coming to the reactance part, X equal to omega L. So omega is constant. Omega equal to 2 pi f and L is constant. 2 pi is constant and L is constant. Only the frequency varies. If the frequency varies, the reactance varies. But here the resistance remains same, either in squirrel cage or slip ring. Suppose if we vary the resistance, so coming back to the diagram, if we vary the resistance, okay, or we are adding some resistance, look at this first case, that is SM. So what is value? R2. So there we got the maximum starting torque. Next, if we increase the value, so that is some R2 dash, consider it as an R2 dash, where it is higher than the R2, so the torque obtained is also higher. I mean, the torque remains same, but the slip value is increased. That is SM dash. If we keep on increasing the resistance value, let us consider it as an R2 double dash, which is greater than R2 dash. So that starting torque is same, but the slip value is higher. Okay. So like this, we can keep on adding the resistance, and we can achieve the maximum torque if there is any mechanical loads are added. Okay, suppose if we are adding the mechanical loads and it leads to decrease in the speed of the motor, so what happens? The motor tries to reach the maximum torque. So for that case, either we can increase the supply voltage, square of the supply voltage. How we can increase the square of the supply voltage means, here you can see the relation T is proportional to, see here. So here T is proportional to S into E2 square. So E2 square means induced EMF in the secondary. So which is proportional to E1. So E1 is proportional to E2. So where E1 comes from? Because of the source supply voltage. So if we want to increase the torque, either we can change the supply voltage, but that is not permitted, because the voltage should be, and the voltage and the frequency should be constant. Okay. Next, what are the alternate methods? So then how can we improve the torque if we add the mechanical load to the motor? If we keep on increasing the load, the speed gets reduced. That should not happen there. It has to reach the rated speed. Okay, so that, I mean, the rated speed of the motor. Okay, so which should be different from the synchronous speed of the stator. Okay, so if you want to run the rated speed, and if it has to reach the maximum torque, so for that the control methods are by adding the resistance, external resistance, which is only possible through the slip ring induction rotor. So earlier we have seen, by using the resistor bank, we can add the resistance to the rotor circuit, so that the torque can be improved there. Okay. But the drawback is that the slip is getting increased. We have to keep an eye on it. Okay, so it should not reach the unstable region. Okay, but this is one method of improving the torque. Okay, so that the torque slip can be improved in the induction motor. Okay, all right. So that's about the characteristics of an induction motor with respect to torque slip and the torque speed. So hope you have understood the session. So thank you one and all.